You've mentioned that simply holding Bitcoin is enough, but would you ever consider building something like a Bitcoin bank, or does that go against your philosophy?
That's a good question.
A bank is a regulated, or it's a reserved term in Western civilization. So right now it means a company that takes business or retail deposits. It's regulated. If you're a regulated bank, you might actually be prevented from doing other financial things. So we don't have any plans to be a bank. We're much more enthusiastic about pioneering the world of Bitcoin-backed credit instruments. We want to have, the premier Bitcoin-backed equity and Bitcoin-backed credit, and so it's a set of financial products, but not a bank.
All right, that makes sense. All right, Michael, a lot of people believe in diversification, but you've gone all in on Bitcoin. What gives you such strong conviction in that choice?
Well, Bitcoin's the...
Are you sitting in more than one chair? Are you using more than one microphone? Gosh, when that happened, I loved that clip.
Only digital commodity, and if you're going to be a public company, then you need to be capitalized on a commodity. And Bitcoin is the first commodity in the history of the world that outperforms the S&P index on a consistent basis. So if you are a public company, it's a very simple choice. There's one best asset, and there is no second best asset, right?
Got it.
So, I mean, I'm an aeronautical engineer. I have conviction in Bitcoin like you have conviction in using aluminum to build an airplane. And the reason you use aluminum to build an airplane is because if you use steel, the plane won't fly. So Bitcoin works for a public company because it's higher performance than the S&P, and it's more volatile than the S&P, and it's a commodity, and so you can go to 100% leverage. And every mathematical model you can possibly work through indicates that the right answer is 100% Bitcoin. If you diversify that, all you're doing is bleeding off, diluting the volatility, which devalues the options. When you go from 100 vol to 40 vol, your options market would go from 100 billion to a billion. So you're going to destroy your own options market. And if you dilute the Bitcoin with anything else, you would destroy your performance. And so the first order answer is it makes no sense because the options are destroyed and the equity is destroyed. The second order answer is you can't build a Bitcoin-backed convertible bond or Bitcoin-backed convertible preferred stock or Bitcoin-backed fixed income preferred stock if you're not Bitcoin-backed, right? And so if Berkshire Hathaway, for example, were to buy $100 billion worth of Bitcoin tomorrow, they might have more Bitcoin than us, but they couldn't issue equity and credit instruments that have Bitcoin's performance because they would be diversified. And so at the end of the day, it makes sense for us to be 100% Bitcoin because it gives you the first order best result, and then all of the securities that we build inherit the volatility and the performance of Bitcoin. And we would, in essence, be destroying, we're crippling our own securities and crippling our own performance to diversify.
I love that. I want to go a little bit off script because you said something. You said there is no second best, right? That's a meme that you created. You have a couple of them. It's going up forever, Laura. All your models are destroyed. A couple of my favorites. You guys bought 420 with a zero in between of Bitcoin yesterday. You guys talk about the importance of marketing and memes and memetics in your guys' boardroom. How important is that to what you guys are doing?
I think we live in a world of abundance, and there are more messages and there's more entertainment. You can sit and you can watch Magnus Carlsen chess videos, and you can almost watch an infinite number of commentators commenting on the same chess game by Magnus Carlsen if you want to go down that rabbit hole. There's infinite everything, infinite entertainment, infinite message, infinite news. and everybody's overwhelmed and bombarded. And so it's important that if you have a message that you condense it down to something which is very efficient. People don't have time to read 30 pages. They don't have time to read 2 pages. They probably don't have time to read 2 paragraphs, right? If I were to write a book on why Bitcoin is a superior investment asset, 0.1% of the people would read the book in a decade. If I simply said there is no second best,
Amen.
and if I can get like a 3-year-old kid with a beard to say there's no second best, like baby Saylor can get the point across 1,000,000 times as efficiently. And so I think that these are important because you just can't spread the information efficiently enough unless you put it into a viral package.
Just like, that's such a good framework through which to understand money at the same time. That money is compressing all of this data about all of the activities that have been done in the world, right? What is the actual supply of goods and capital? What is the actual demand? You know, all of these things get compressed into just the market price, and money is the language through which that is communicated. Like, it's very meme-like in that sense, in that it's a data compression technology. And so again, when I said earlier in our past video that Bitcoin's like the ultimate meme, it doesn't just mean that Bitcoin has this very recognizable brand. It's that its functionality as a tool is actually compressing the most possible data.
Yeah.
And its price movements are telling you the truest picture of what people actually want versus what's actually available in the world. Now, it's not, now people aren't pricing things in Bitcoin widely yet. That hasn't been fully adopted in that way.
So that's very forward thinking.
Well, but you can do it today, right? As we said earlier, the housing prices are down. Oh, sorry. Housing prices are down 99% over the past 10 years. I say this in 2025, if you denominate housing prices in Bitcoin.
Yes.
So the tool is available to you. It's always a matter of what frame of reference are you using to evaluate economic activities. So money does have this very deeply, and this is where words get a little tricky, memetic, not mimetic. Like mimetic is like imitating. Memetic is more like this data compression aspect that he's talking about.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And Richard Dawkins is the father of that idea. The book, The Selfish Gene, he talked about, you know, what genetics are. That basically we pass our genetic information on to our ancestors. He talked about the cultural version of that, which he called the meme.
Yeah.
But memes only became popular in the age of the internet. So this idea has been around for a while, but it's like, it's cultural genetics, if you will.
Yeah. Well, I will say Saylor's wrong. I know one individual sitting right in front of me that has time to read more than 2 paragraphs every day. Very well read.
It's always a matter of prioritization. But he's right? That all of our attention spans have been fucking debased.
Well, and it's just bombarded with information.
And by the way, like, I carve out time to read books because I just that's something I've been doing for a long time. But I too get sucked into, you know, doom scrolling and all this stuff on this thing for hours at a time sometimes.
Yes.
You know, especially when I'm traveling or I don't have anything else to do, I'm just flipping through Twitter, flipping through Instagram.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I think that's what he's speaking to, right? It does take its toll on your attention span.
Well, not only that, but I mean, I'm very interested in what's happening in the Bitcoin world and beyond. And there's just too much information. I can't keep up with it all. Like many years ago, it was like I could devour all of it, but it's just become so abundant. It's like, you know, you have to pick and choose, and there's a lot out there.
We're all drinking from the fire hose now. And now that everyone is both a producer and a consumer of information, it's like it's exploded exponentially. Like my mom, I always tell the joke that my mom was a kid. She said we had channel 3, 6, and 9, or was it 3, 9, and 12, whatever it was. They had three channels.
Yeah.
And she goes, and if the president was on, you're fucked. Because he'd be on all 3 channels.
That's funny.
So we've gone from that world to like what he just described, right?
Yes.
The infinite rabbit hole of any niche you want to look into.
Totally.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this episode, click here to find more just like it, and here to find our most recent episode. Also, make sure to like this video to help shine light on the corruption of money. And be sure to subscribe to this channel to stay connected.